Upgrade, upgrade, upgrade. Utility grid, highways, renewable energy, and clean hydrogen, all of these sectors are getting billions of dollars from the latest infrastructure package. I'm Skylar James, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're gonna find out how this bill is gonna modernize our most at-risk infrastructure while boosting the backbone of next-gen transportation. The bill is a down payment on our clean energy future. If you're an investor, you'll want to know who wins. And speaking of investing, if you have 2 seconds, please invest in hitting that like button. This content creator would appreciate it. Are you thinking about buying an electric car but can't justify it because finding a charging station is harder than finding an honest politician? Well, you're in luck. The Senate set aside $7.5 billion toward building a national charging network to solve our charging station woes. Companies like BLNK and ChargePoint stand to benefit. EV automakers will also get a windfall. After all, consumers won't purchase electric vehicles if charging is inconvenient and sporadic. And semiconductors, what aren't they involved in? Semis are the new oil. They are vital to our economy. Their value extends beyond EVs to charging stations as well. How about electric ferries? That's actually a new one to me, but apparently they're a thing. Big electric boxes floating on water. I guess we'll be using them to carry our electric cars over rivers as our aging bridges fall apart. Wait, this just in! This bill contains money for bridge repair. Of course. Bridge repair. Bridges are that can we've kicked down the road for 30 years. $40 billion is going to bridges, the biggest investment since the interstate system was first constructed. 1 in 5 miles of American roadway is sorely overdue for maintenance and repairs. Look to companies like Vulcan, Marietta, Vale, and Nucor. These are iron ore miners, steel makers, and gravel producers. To bake a roadway cake, you'll need these ingredients. The bill also contains money for new economies on the rise, namely renewable energy and its push to replace fossil fuels. The bill calls for billions to go toward clean hydrogen and solar. But the language goes beyond just the sources of energy. Part of it is modernizing the grid to maximize renewable production. This includes upgrades to physical components and strengthening cybersecurity. Think about Texas last winter. That blistering cold paired with utility failures made for challenging weeks for them. To prevent that happening a second time, the work starts right now on that mission. If you're looking to profit on this as an investor, 2 tactical and energy-specific plays are PBW and TAN. But be aware, this bill specifically restricts funds from going to Chinese solar manufacturers, so allocate your capital strategically. This power grid funding was pegged at $73 billion in the bill. That sounds like a lot, because it is. Especially $73 billion coming fresh off the printing press. But contrary to what Congress is doing, independent experts are saying the US requires 50 times that much to truly modernize the grid. 50 times. This theme repeats itself over and over throughout the bill, that experts and analysts lay out one cost for mediating a problem, and the government responds with breadcrumbs. It happened on the renewable energy front, on the water services remediation front, and the power grid like I just highlighted. Physical infrastructure is getting $110 billion, barely denting the almost $800 billion worth of backlogged repairs. And why are we giving tens of billions to Amtrak? Aren't we in the midst of a transportation revolution? Regional rail lines haven't worked well in the US for the last 100 years. And I think the rail lines, as we know them today, will be obsolete in a decade's time. In many areas, the spending is unprecedented, but ultimately the bill is a down payment on the clean energy future rather than an all-out purchase. It's a band-aid on aging infrastructure instead of an all-out fix. It's an enormous amount of spending for one single fiscal year, but a completely inadequate amount when you factor in the decades our political leaders have looked the other way. If you're looking to generate alpha in the markets with this legislation, look at those material companies I mentioned like Vale and Marietta. Look at PBW and TAN to capture renewables. And if the easy button is more your style, check out the PAVE ETF from Global X and IFRA from iShares. 2 very broad ETFs that attack the infrastructure bill from all sides. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.